That's it.
You run. That didn't take long, did it?
Took about 6 minutes.
I know it. It runs fast. Well, I could run it faster. We'll take just a minute to drain this water out and we'll wash it down.
Oops.
Just about down there. You can see the gold starting to drop. If we start washing it out, it'll That's a pretty good little ring there. What we run. The lights down. Wash her down through. It'll get pretty good down there too.
Okay, that's just the top 5 riffles now. In the
Right, first 5 riffles. Okay, let's work on that lower part there. Get it concentrated. So we wash the rest down.
believe that's the stuff people kill each other over?
That's it.
Yeah, there you go.
You see the gold come out of there now. You get a shot of that gold running down?
Yeah.
Now this is just out of the first 5 ripples.
Now you just put the soap in there to cut the surface tension on the gold, so it'll pan out easier. Otherwise a lot of it would float.
The gold in there?
Yeah, I can see it. You're not supposed to show it till you get it panned, though, Larry.
What's that?
You're not supposed to show it till you get it panned.
Yeah. So heavy, it's hard to wash out. Gold coming out.
Yep. There it is.
Put her back now and put her into a pan.
Okay.
Better?
Of course, you're going to get the most gold out of the bottom 5. Stuff that gets up closer to the top will be light. The lighter it gets, the harder it is to catch, and the less of it there is.
Starting to pick up a little more gold now. Up nothing like the lower ones. See, we're picking the gold up in those lower ripples now again.
Yeah.
I could have went a couple more ripples and all of it.
Yeah, that's fine.
Shows where the gold's at.
This is mostly black sands. Pretty good line of gold around the edge though.
Yeah, the gold's right on the bottom mainly, and it'll break once we wash that light off. Not again. Kind of let it work itself.
Curious to see how well this shows up on the
Video,
video.
huh?
Yeah.
Yes, it will.
Showing up pretty good through the lens, but the lens is black and white.
Is it?
So I can't see color through the lens.
Uh-huh.
The gold shows up as white. Naturally, this black sand will show up black. Yeah.
It shows up.
Yeah, it probably will.
Okay, we'll work her down into the slot, down through the swoosh. about 200 pounds of it. No retire. Pretty stuff though. It's real heavy.
How much of that tape's gone, Trevor? Is that on fast or slow speed?
Just let it kind of work quicker. No, slow. It's got a lot left.
Okay.
At least you know it drip.
Well, the first batch was taken off the bottom 5. How many other ripples are there? There's 16?
Well, I believe around 16, 17 ripples, so that would be about a third.
So this is...
Most of this bowl would be in probably the next 3 or 4 ripples.
Yeah.
90% of it.
It's really pretty when it gets down like that.
Yeah. I'm going to wash this into here and then we'll put it together.
Okay.
Solid gold.
That's pretty stuff.
Now this is going to overflow, so we'll have to watch where that water goes on your bag.
Yeah, well, that's why we put the...
If you want to see the difference between the first bowl and the second bowl, this is a good time. What the recovery factor is. That tells you what your rate of recovery is all about. See, you're seeing no gold in the ripples at all. They're just black sand and silicates. There'll be probably a skip in there, and that's about it.
That way you're not being careful this time.
Right. We need to do this one fast because we haven't got much gold to worry about. Catch about the same amount of material, regardless. The difference is the concentration of gold in the material.
Still got a little black sand.
There'll be a little gold in it, but probably, we usually retain about 5% in the second bowl. Between 2 and 5%, depending on the runs. How much black sand's in the material? Not very much. Most of fine gold, it's good to have a backup though.
Oh yeah.
We'll just kind of let that wash down. You can get an idea of the difference in the recovery in the two bowls. You can see just a little teeny skip in there. Very small amount. Actually, I'd call that color, not gold. That's gold over there. Got all the gold that was in it.
Little flood right there.
Little skip of it. That shows what the first bowl covers, in contrast to the second one.
Okay, right now what we're doing is we bring the concentrates from the big plant after we've cleaned up all the carpets. This is what Larry's shoveling out of the wheelbarrow into buckets. And then as we clean all these containers out, like Brett's doing there, the fellow is taking out one more bucket and laying it up on the top, dumping a little of the excess water off. Then he brings it over and sets it in that rack. Now at that point he's slowly washing out the high-grade concentrates into that film sizing, or it's a unit that actually disperses the material in the water and evenly mixes it, and then it goes down into the first bowl. And as it goes into the bowl, the first bowl right there, then it's processed from the bottom to the top, and then it goes down to the second bowl, and then it's discharged out into a tank. Right? At the operation here, we can look down and see the bowls, how he's washing the material down into the first bowl. This has this is the net bowl, the patented riffle that after we get through washing all of this material down, then I'll show you cleanup. And on this first bowl that you're looking at right here, the first bowl in the system, there we're getting roughly 95% of the gold. And as it's passed on into the second bowl, we're picking up another 3%. We've calculated this out after running several runs through here and measuring the gold to come out of each bowl. Then, as the material goes off into this first trough where he's dumping the water now, all the tailings are trapped. The water goes on out into the tailings pond. Now, after we've shut down and we're cleaning up the operation, they take all of the tailings out of that horse trough there where it's being discharged into and pile it up into this second horse trough. Now that material is rerun again. They shovel that out, take it around in buckets, and rerun it back through the system. And that we scrape out the very little bit of gold that's left at that time. And the tailings out of the pit are taken around. He's taking a load of tailings out there now. Taking you through the entire operation from where it comes out of the dirt bank over against the hill and washed it all the way through our entire system, concentrated it, brought it over here, run it through this recovery system, and at that time all of our high-grade concentrates out of this system here, out of the bowls, go into town where they're amalgamated and retorted, and we'll show you tomorrow. We'll have some retorted down. We'll show you the way our gold has been prepared for shipment. While these boys are running this material down, Larry's testing some of the concentrates, and he's going to run some down here in a minute, and we'll see what it looks like. If anybody can pan in this world, Larry does an excellent job. Now we've shut down now from running all the concentrates, and you'll be able to look in and see the gold in the riffles there. Okay, now turn the bowl, Larry. Slowly, now you can pick up the gold. How fine the gold is that gets caught in the riffles. He's draining down the water now out of the bowl. Stops it, and we'll take the pan from underneath, and they take the concentrates that went down into that pan and the water. A lot of the gold is so fine that it floats in the water, and so we'll dump it in this large 55-gallon container over here and let it settle. Put a little flocking material in it, let the fine particles of gold settle, and then the black sand and the concentrates are then placed in another container ready to go in and be amalgamated. And that's the way the system works on the cleanup. And there again, we'll let more water out, and then as soon as they start cleaning out the ripples, then we'll be able to show you a lot of gold after the black sand is separated when it washes down. Okay, now as soon as I'll come back to it just as soon as we get it washed down to the bottom.
Okay, now we'll wash it down.
Okay, you can see some, but it's mostly water in there right now, so as soon as they get it washed down, then we'll come back. Out here in this part of the world that there are people who are successfully taking gold out of this area. The visitors and curiosity seekers are always coming out to find out what's going on. There goes one now. We get 2 or 3 a day out here. Mostly people are from the area and who have known that the gold has been here all their life, and they just can't believe that it's being extracted on a commercial basis. And yet they come out and drive around. Look over, some of them get brave enough to go over and ask us questions, some of them just drive through and then go on back. Well, we go back down here and take a look at our cleanup now.
Let's wash it down to this bottom section. We're going to see pretty good gold if you catch one on it. Okay, go ahead and plug it off. Let's catch it while we plug it off. I'll turn the bowl.
We were able to see the fine, fine gold mixed in with the black sands. And a lot of the gold.
Ready?
As it gets cleans out the ripples, more gold just keeps showing up.
Okay.
Pretty easy to pick out and see that's all talcum powder size.
Okay, now hit that.
That's what an average day's cleanup looks like, with all these millions and millions of fine particles.
I see some new parts for the loader. I see,
That's your medication.
See how heavy that gold is. Even in those millions of fine particles, it's still very heavy. Look at it floating on the water. There's a very good
Zoom in on this stuff.
show how the gold is washed down, how the millions of fine particles, talcum powder size gold. Gold that people, even today, many people deny that there's any system around that will recover this kind of gold. Nobody believes it. There he's trying to work the black sands down through the hole to be discharged to the bottom there. I'm just guessing, but I would say we're probably 18 ounces on that cleanup that we just saw. Well, now you've seen how it's washed out of the gravel, trapped, concentrated, placed into the containers now. The next thing we'll do is we'll go in town to the laboratory and show you how it's stripped out of this black sands, poured into ingots, or patties, we call them patties. That'll be the next thing we'll show you. Moves very, very slowly. And that's containing 95% in that bowl. And there'll be about, like I said earlier, about 5% caught in this bowl, or 3%.
You guys want to clean this one out, I'll start panning the concentrates.
Okay.
Scott, can you take that hose around that way while you're over there?
Hey, Brett, smile.
Easier to get it around that way and use it. They'll pull.
Put your finger down there, Larry, so they can get an idea of how heavy the gold is. Now that's the kind of gold that we're producing out here on the Green River. Just pure, fine particles of gold. There you can see how the gold floats on the water. Even particles of it is so fine, it just sits there and floats.
That really got no good character on it. What? You'd find hot spots run about $20 a yard. There ought to be some out there. Figure the old timers, they got a lot of them. They can get them out there and they're all right hot.
Okay, now stick your finger in it, Larry. Dig it around. The particles, some of it's even floating in the bottom of the pan there. And yet you can see the density of that gold, how heavy it is. And that's all comprised of all those little particles that are floating there on the water. And that is the kind of gold that everybody says that cannot be extracted. And yet we're doing it with our recovery system. It looks beautiful, Larry. Pardon me. We're here at Kent Dahl's home. This is what I referred to out on the mining operation as our laboratory. And so I use that word laboratory rather loosely. As we bring our concentrates in from the operation, they come in these 5-gallon buckets. We put it in a cement mixer with water, some chemicals, and mercury. And as it's amalgamated for a couple of hours, then it's taken inside of the building here, and I'll go inside and see how the lighting is in there, if we can get on camera the little shaker screen we've got. But as it comes out of the lab at that point in the mercury, then it's put in this retort. This retort, it stays in there for about an hour. And this retort, all the fumes are retorted down into the water, so there is no mercury fumes evaporating in the air. And then it's safer for the people around it. This is built in Salt Lake by a man named Cal Meek, and this retort is the only one I've ever seen on the market. We have this stainless steel bench, chemicals and things here. And then as we go across to the other side of the room, here is the little shaker machine that, as it comes out of the cement mixer, it goes into this top tray here, where water is injected in there, and this thing is on a pulsating slide back and forth action. It moves back and forth. The material comes out of this upper trough, discharges down in with all the sand and the mercury, and as this thing shakes, it shakes the sand out, goes into this pan outside, and then all the mercury with the gold in it is left inside. And it's at that point that it's brought over here, and through buckets and chemicals and things, we separate the mercury from the sand, and then it goes out and into the retort. Then after it comes out of the retort, it goes in here to where we then weigh it on a set of scales and log it in, and it's then prepared for shipment. And you'll see it outside here. The next sequence of pictures is how it comes out. The mercury amalgam is being cleaned up. It's you notice the gloves on the hands protects the person from mercury poisoning, and it's being cleaned up. All the impurities are taken out of it, so that when it goes into the retort, it makes the gold that much finer percent.
You can see the impurities coming in with water there. It's murky.
Right, murky. Now this is the clean mercury amalgam. You'll notice how thick that is at the back. Now that's the impregnated mercury. It goes into the cup. At that point, it's ready for the retort. There's a little critical thing there. You have to make sure that there's a seal in place on that retort so that there's no fumes escape there. And the gas is turned on. It's lit. Now it's on fire and ready to start the retorting. That's merely a piece of metal to shield the wind. It gets pretty windy here at times, and it keeps it cooking the duration it needs without the fumes or the film or the flame blowing out. Now we'll come back over here where Larry's preparing this powdered gold that we panned down for you yesterday. And there, Kent's taken out now as it comes out of the retort. That's what it looks like on both. Slide it over closer to Kent, Larry. There you go. Okay, now you get a, there it is in the dust form as we take it out with the machine. Now put your, stir that around so they can see how fine that dust is. And that's the, how our machines collect it. And then that's the finished product at our point. Then we ship it off where it's then refined. It leaves in that state there in that donut. It's about 9.1 to 9.3 fine. And the same in the powdered form. And then it goes, it wasn't even taken on all.
For a high